Well, first we'll just cover the entire neuron right here.
Okay.
And we start at 206. Okay. So just draw out a neuron first. What it looks like. So we got. So what's the first part that we want to start with? That you think the core of it?
Is it it's the nucleus?
Right. So we're gonna start with the nucleus.
Yeah.
So we got the nucleus right here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do we have around it?
Dendrites.
First, before you get to the dendrites, we have the cell body.
Oh yeah.
So we have the cell body that surrounds the nucleus.
Okay.
And then around that, what do we have?
The dendrites.
Right. And then we have the dendrites.
And those are what puts information in. Is that what like stores information?
No. So the dendrites don't store information.
They receive information.
The dendrites will receive information. Yes. Okay. So we have the dendrites, and then what do we have?
The axons.
Yes. So then we have an axon. So this is what an axon looks like. Okay. And then what do we have that surrounds the axon to protect it?
Synapses.
No. So that's something that surrounds the axon is the myelin sheath.
Oh, that's right.
And the myelin sheath is like a fatty layer that just protects the axon.
Okay.
So we've got this thing that's kind of like this and protects it. Okay, and so this is the myelin sheath. The blue is the myelin sheath.
Okay.
All right, and then what do we have at the end of the axon?
I can't remember.
Okay, so then at the end of the axon, then we have the terminal branches of the axon.
Right.
So then we have this like little branches that they kind of look like dendrites.
Okay.
And we have the terminal. These are the terminal terminal branches of the axon.
Okay.
And then what do the terminal branches of the axon connect to?
The synapse. Well, the synapse is in between the next thing.
Right.
Right. It's like that empty space.
So what are the terminal branches of the axon? What are those going to connect to?
Terminal branches. The dendrites.
Right. So they're going to connect. The terminal branches of the axon are going to connect to the dendrites of another neuron. So then they're going to start to connect like this.
So it's like, it's kind of like goes in like a repetitive order, like the cell with the connects to the other cell.
Right. So they're just going to be transferring information.
Okay.
It's like an assembly line of how that's how neurons work. It's like an assembly line.
Okay.
So have we talked about the olfactory bulb and things like that?
No.
Yeah, I talked about that yet. Okay, you're going to get to that probably after this one.
Okay.
Okay, so we got this covered?
Yeah.
So should we go through and...
Yeah, go through and like label things.
Okay, so what's the center one?
The nucleus.
Right, so this is the nucleus.
And then...
And then what's surrounding the nucleus?
Cell body.
Right, and then this is the cell body. Okay, and then what's surrounding the cell body?
The dendrites.
These are the dendrites. Okay, and then what's coming off right here? What's this long, skinny thing?
The myelin sheath, right?
No, so inside the myelin sheath.
I forgot.
Okay, so inside the... Okay, so inside the myelin sheath, we have the axon. Right?
Okay.
So this like snake-looking thing that inside the blue, the black, is an axon.
Okay, and then the myelin sheath.
And
goes
then
over
the
that.
myelin sheath, yes, is this. These are the myelin sheath. I don't know how to tell you that. Myelin sheath.
Do you mind also, after we do this, we can go over what they mean?
Yeah, we can do that. And then what are these? This right here.
Those are the, what is it?
So we've got this.
Yeah, the axon.
This is the terminal
Axons.
terminal branches of the axon.
Oh, wow. Why did I name it so long?
So this is the terminal branches of axon.
Forgotten now.
And then this
Is the another
neuron.
dendrites.
Yeah, so these are the dendrites of another neuron.
Great.
Dendrites of neuron B. Okay?
Okay.
And so now we'll go over what all of them are.
Okay.
So first we'll start with the, what's a neuron? Just tell me what a neuron is.
Isn't it like something that stores information or transfers information?
Kind of. It does both of those things, but those are specific parts of the neuron that do that part. What a neuron is it's in our nervous system, and it communicates to other neurons to finally eventually communicate to our brain. And it helps us to process tasks.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it just kind of helps us to remember things and.
They can help us to remember things and to do things and to feel things.
Okay, so kind of like what was it? It was the frontal cortex.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like that.
So neurons are inside the frontal cortex. Everything in our body is connected to neurons.
Okay.
So the reason that I can feel this marker is because of neurons that are in the end of my finger
Right. And
that are transferring neuron signals up my arm and then into my brain.
Okay.
And then my brain is recognizing it as me touching something.
Okay.
So that's why even like when your eyes are closed and you touch something, that you can feel it. Because your neurons are getting
sending signals up.
up your arm into your brain and you're sensing it
Okay.
as something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a neuron. And then we'll start from the powerhouse of the neuron. What's a nucleus?
It's just like the main thing. It's inside a neuron.
Yes. Where is...
Should be. No.
Anyways, well, I'll just tell you. So nucleus is basically just the powerhouse of a neuron.
Okay.
It helps to just like make sure that everything's running right. It's like the brain of the neuron.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, and then we go to the cell body. What is the cell body there for?
To protect the nucleus.
Right, it protects the nucleus. The cell body protects the nucleus.
Okay.
And then what do the dendrites do?
They receive information.
Yes, the dendrites receive information. And then what about the axon?
It sends information.
Right, so it transfers information down the neuron
To the terminal branches.
to the terminal branches. And what do the terminal branches do?
They send the signals over to the next.
To the next neuron.
Neuron,
Right.
yeah.
So we have the dendrites, which receive,
Mm-hmm.
the axon, that
Which sends.
transfers, and then the terminal branches, they send.
Okay, so it's kind of like, I know this might sound weird, but it's kind of like a game of telephone that.
Right.
People, okay.
Yes, and so, no, I'm not even talking about this. I'll talk about this. Yeah, so does that help you out at all?
Yeah, that does.
Okay, so now we'll, and then what does the myelin sheath do? Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Does it store information?
So the myelin sheath does not have anything to do with storing anything. The myelin sheath is strictly there just to protect the axon.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. So there's three kinds of neurons.
Okay.
So can you tell me which ones they are without looking?
Yeah. There's Types of neurons. Crap. I don't remember.
All right, that's okay. So we've got our sensory neurons. So we have sensory neurons. And then we have our motor neurons.
Oh, that's right. I even sticky noted it. What?
And then we also have interneurons.
Okay.
Interneurons. Okay. So for sensory neurons, what do you think the sensory neurons do?
Just like your sight, your hearing.
Right, so they receive, so these ones, they are before I, before E, except for C. They receive information from the outside world.
Okay.
So they receive info from outside world. Okay. And then what do you think motor neurons do?
Just like your movements and.
Right, so these ones, they control our movements.
And then aren't interneurons like your inner thoughts or what you're thinking?
So interneurons, they are going to connect these two. So these two are going to be connected by interneurons.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So when you have a sense, so remember we were talking about fight or flight?
Yes.
And so you sensed something in front of you that scared you,
Okay.
which then made you go to fight or to flight, to run.
Right.
And so those interneurons connected the two, and they sensed that you were scared, and so then it produced you to either punch them or to run away.
Okay.
So interneurons connect the two. Interneurons are just connections. Like internal,
Oh,
in between,
okay.
they connect.
Okay.
Okay? So you get the
Yeah, so they
thing?
receive the information and then they kind of tell you like, okay, are you doing fight or flight?
Right, it's just going to connect everything.
Okay.
Interneurons are everything that's not motor neurons and sensory neurons.